Allison Rosen. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison Rosen, Allison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone, hi, hello, it is me, Allison Rosen. Welcome to another episode of Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. I'm sitting here with comedian Mark Normand. Hello and welcome.
Hey, good to be here.
He has a special Mark Normand, Don't Be Yourself. I feel like I messed up the part that comes before the colon, Don't Be Yourself.
No, you nailed it.
Amy Schumer presents Mark Normand, colon, Don't Be... What's the full title?
I just call it Don't Be Yourself because I am Mark Normand.
Right.
So it feels weird to say my own name. But yeah, I think you nailed it. That's fine. Amy Schumer produced it, but you don't have to throw her into every one, you know.
You do. I mean, she does appear at the very beginning of your special. More than once.
She brings me... We do a whole thing in the green room where she yells at me, and then she brings me out on stage, and that's about it.
Well, we're going to have to talk about that because I follow you on Instagram, and I know that you travel the world via private jet with her.
Oh, yeah.
Because you open for her, yes?
I opened for her and Louis C.K.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at you.
A few times. I'm not like his
go-to?
Go-to, but yeah.
Who's his go-to?
He mixes it up. He's a little scared of the commit, I believe. Meant.
How do you know? I didn't know where you were going to go. No, I knew you were going there with that.
Yeah.
Okay, and also you are the co-host of Tuesdays with Stories.
Wow, you're good.
Thank you,
man. I really appreciate it.
I try.
Yeah, it's a fun pod. Me and my friend Joe List, we travel the world. He also opens for Louis and other people, and he's a comic in New York as well. And we leave every weekend to go do our adventures in comedy, and then we come back and share what we saw.
What'd you see this week?
Oh, my God. I've been all over the road. I did the Comedy Store last night, got to hang out with Dana Carvey, and we chatted it up. I had a guy on a Delta flight, or United flight, excuse me, and this guy, a very gay flight attendant, was walking by, with his cart, and he goes, "I've seen you on Conan." I go, "Oh, yeah." And he goes, "Here's some free..." He gave me one of those boxes of protein boxes or whatever they call it,
Wow.
So I got a freebie.
That's worth like $7.95.
I know. I'll take it. And so then I had like a murmur around like the other people in the seats, like, who's that guy? He looks homeless, or whatever. He doesn't look famous.
Right. But look at him with his cheese and nuts.
Yes. Cheese and nuts.
Perhaps some hummus.
Exactly. That was exactly what was in it. You're good.
Thank you. Yeah.
You know your box. Oh, jeez.
That's what they say about me.
Yeah, so good times.
United extra kind? Wait, did I read a tweet? Did you write a tweet? That was one of your tweets. Okay, I looked at your Twitter feed just recently. In response to the recent dragging of the guy off the plane, did it seem like they were trying to overcompensate?
Totally. Just a lot of smiles and a lot of hellos and how are yous, and you want the can with that Coke Zero?
Oh, wow.
You want the whole can? I was like, I'd love the whole can. So yeah, they were bringing it. I like a little trash every now and then because it kicks people in the pants. Like I'm from New Orleans. Katrina, like New Orleans, the most laid back city, party town, cool dude, and we had a lot of problems. And then once Katrina came, it really like made everybody go, all right, we got to get our shit together.
I've never been to New Orleans, but I would like to.
You would hate it.
Really?
Well, it's a real, you got to get up and go party. Like you're hungover, but you got to get out there and put down a few beers and show your cans.
What, do I seem like someone who doesn't want to show my cans and party?
Yes.
I guess I can't argue with that. I'm not that person. But I want to seem like that person.
We all do, but no one really is. And the guy who is that guy is dying inside. So the fact that you're
probably the outside too.
Probably, yeah.
You might be dying all over.
But the fact that you're not that person shows some strength, I think.
Thank you. What was it like growing up there?
Oh my God, it was a weird upbringing. If you really want the whole anal, I grew up in a poor black neighborhood. My dad bought a mansion, in like a dilapidated mansion in this bad neighborhood, and we got robbed all the time because people just assumed we were loaded because we had a mansion.
Right, you had the ostentatious house.
Yes, and we had a transgender nanny named Enos. It was a giant black guy with a wig and high heels. I guess transvestite would be the correct.
Right.
It was just the outfit, but he was a burlesque dancer, and he kind of like raised me. And
where was your mom?
They both worked all day, every day, and they would come home at night. But then the house was such a money pit that my dad had to make the back half of bed and breakfast just to get some income. So now we're eating breakfast with these traveling businessmen and weirdo musicians who were just staying there, almost like a pre-Airbnb. And my mom's whipping up waffles, and I'm eating, cold toast and butter. But it was a weird upbringing. We got robbed a lot. Eventually, my bike got stolen a million times, got roughed around a bit, a lot of racial tension. It was the 90s. And eventually 2 guys broke in and held my parents up at gunpoint, tied them up with my dad's neckties while I was at a Mardi Gras parade. I came back home. There's a million cops. So eventually my parents were like, all right, we got to get the hell out of here.
Wow.
Yeah, wild childhood.
How old were you when that happened?
I was 14 when that happened. That was like the last straw.
How did the cops get there?
Well, eventually when the guys left, my dad kind of finagled out of the necktie. It wasn't a great knot, I don't think. Right. It wasn't a Cub Scout,
What kind of criminals were these that they didn't even bring in their own restraints?
I think they were just drug addicts, and they knocked on the back door, and my dad was like, what the hell is this? It's 9 at night. And he opened the door, and they just put a gun in his face, and he was just like, oh, shit. And then they went from there. A lot of improv.
So your parents weren't hurt, though, other than being traumatized by it?
No.
And robbed?
My mom was pretty fucked up for a while mentally, but it wasn't a no pain, no gain kind of thing. They what's the word? Complied.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But then I've also heard that's what you're not supposed to do. There's so many different directions to go when someone's trying to... I guess it just depends what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
I guess what I've heard is if you're being carjacked, don't go along with it because it's going to end up with you being killed.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's true.
And then there's the whole, if you're skidding out, turn into the skid, turn away from the skid. Who knows?
My dad always told me, and again, it's not like he had practiced this or tried this. It was just his idea. He's like, fake a heart attack. If someone is trying to hold you up or anything like that, because they're not going to want the trouble, attention.
Yeah. Oh, right.
So I keep that one in my back pocket.
See, I'm such a bad actor that he would probably kill me because of it. He'd be like, what are you doing? I'm the worst. I got kicked out of an audition in L.A. recently.
What happened?
I had to audition that my dad was dying next to me. We were watching a football game in the living room or something, and my dad has a heart attack next to me. And my whole line was like, oh my God, Dad, like that whole thing. But I was just like, Dad, what are you, crazy? Come on, what are you doing? They were like, what? Get out of here. This is bad. I think they thought I was fucking with them, but I was just a bad actor.
Did they really kick you out of it?
I mean, they were like, please go. Like they weren't.
They didn't want to see you try. They didn't want to see you take it from the top again.
Yeah, it wasn't a Jazzy Jeff situation, but it was get hit the bricks, weirdo.
Right. What was an audition for?
It was some drama movie. I can't remember the name. This is years ago, but it came out eventually. I'd like to see it. You ever see a commercial that you auditioned for on TV?
Yes.
That's a weird feeling.
Yes.
Because you're like, oh, he's better than me. How about that?
It was, what's, I feel weird even saying this. The one
Flo
that I'm
thinking... from Progressive? Was that supposed to be you?
No, that could have been me. I always wonder, is that a gilded cage or is she happy?
I think
she's got to be a buttload of money.
A millionaire, so I think she's all right. And she's killing it. She's so good at it.
Yeah.
So I think she's all right.
But I wonder if she has aspirations beyond that. She was on Mad Men.
Is that right?
Yeah, like very first season she was... Did you watch Mad Men?
Yeah, well, I've seen, I think, the half of all of it.
The first half?
No, like half of the whole show. Because it's over, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I've seen the
like
first
from the beginning.
3.
Okay.
Yeah. Seasons.
What did they call it? The phone farm? All the women that were sitting by the switchboard at the ad agency who would answer the phones. She was one of them. I think it was pre-Flo. Maybe it was concurrent with Flo. I don't know.
Kristen Shaw, also one of those.
Yes,
girls. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But so anyway, the specific commercial I'm thinking, the woman who got the part was Indian. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, how can I compete with that?
Yeah.
Except that I don't think that's not why they hired her. It was just they just preferred the way she acted.
Maybe. You never know.
What were you're supposed to act? It was like I can't remember what the product was, but everyone in the office was getting together to sing happy birthday to someone, and she was supposed to be like mildly annoyed by it. I'm like, that's my thing. But I think I really was overacting because I sort of remember like jutting my hip out and crossing my arms and just being like, ugh.
Yeah. By the way, great podcast name, Mildly Annoyed with Allison Rosen.
Thank you. You know what it is? An acting, or actually it was an improv teacher, once sort of singled me and someone else in the class out and was like, you guys tend to play things really subtly or like really I shouldn't say underact, but it was like when you think that you're doing like a big, huge thing on stage, you're really not. So just keep that in mind. So I think that's why in the audition, I was like, I'm going to be like teenager number 4.
Yeah.
And then they just wanted someone else. But also I could tell I was terrible. So there was that
right.
too.
Do you have the thing where you're in the middle of it, you're going, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, and you kind of start freaking out?
It's 100% of the time, whether I'm in an audition or not.
Yeah, all right, me too. I mean, I have it right now. But, all right, so it's good to not be alone there.
Yeah.
Story of my life.
So yeah, looking at you, you seem like a well-adjusted, attractive guy who goes through life fairly smoothly.
Jeez,
and yet,
Louise.
from reading your Twitter feed,
Uh-huh.
I know that you are
touched,
anxiety-ridden and neurotic.
Oh yeah,
insecure.
For sure. Oh my god,
social anxiety. What's going on?
You got them all.
Let's crack the nut. That's Mark Normand.
Just way over analyzing, negative, critical of myself, low self-esteem, low self-worth, all the good ones.
Why do you think?
Oh, geez, I don't know. I mean, my therapist, who thinks it's my parents, obviously, but they seem like nice people to me. They're a little weird, but whose aren't? See, now I'm defending them. He would yell at me for defending them.
I probably didn't say a negative word about my parents in therapy for the first so many years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was because I was in therapy in California. Because I was in a relationship that was not good and I couldn't get out of it. And it was actually my parents who were like, you should talk to a therapist. And I didn't take that well, but excuse me. But then, hang on, there's something in my throat. This can't be good for podcasting. Thank you.
Yeah, literal cough button.
Who recommended I talk to someone because, I thought everything that my behavior was totally normal, but in retrospect, I think everyone around me was like, why are you addicted to this relationship that's not good?
So funny. I was in the same boat.
Really?
Yeah, 12 years.
And I had written down girlfriend 11 years.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Right.
You're good.
Okay, well, so let me just say this real fast, and then I want to find out about that. Because, I even wrote it down because I want to find out about how someone as young as you was in a relationship for that long. But so anyway, I was in therapy in California, and the whole thing was it's sort of at my direction, just focused on relationships. And I really never got into talking about my parents. And then I moved to New York, and that's where I started actually sort of exploring my relationship with my parents. And then when I came back, I saw the original California therapist. I like to have a therapist in every port,
Yeah.
It just makes sense. And she said something, I can't remember the line of questioning, but she said something about how she had wanted me to talk about my parents and I just was resistant. Like I just wouldn't. Now I'm realizing I didn't need to tell that story. Okay.
No, I feel better that you did.
You do?
Yeah, well, because I'm not alone here.
Right. Okay, good. So yeah, how old are you?
33.
And you were in a relationship for 12 years.
Oh, yeah. The whole
Do tell.
High school sweetheart. We were like the it couple, Everybody's like, I wish we were like you. We keep fighting. How do you guys do it? And we felt great being the hot couple, and always having a great time, always getting along. And went to high school, then college, then I found stand-up, then I moved to New York. She came to New York with me. We lived together. It was a whole thing, and then it just started to erode over the years. But it probably should have ended 3-4 years earlier, but we just kind of kept it growing, kept it going, and it was real ugly at the end.
What kind of ugly?
Well, I eventually, I'm such a wuss that I couldn't just do it, and I would talk about doing it all, and my friends were like, look, either break up with her or stop talking about it. And I was like, I don't want to hurt her, blah. And they're like, well, you're kind of hurting her because you're kind of neglecting her and blah, blah, blah. And so eventually I got caught cheating, and then it was then that was it.
Oh, that really is the passive-aggressive way out.
It is.
Or the passive. I don't even know that passive-aggressive is what I would call it because it's aggressive. It's the indirect way out.
Yeah, I guess so.
Did you get caught cheating like you wanted to be caught?
I don't think I definitely didn't want to get caught, but on the surface, but maybe I did because I knew that would work. So maybe it's a subconscious thing.
How'd she catch you?
I'm worried she's going to hear this.
Does she listen to my show?
Oh, I think so.
Oh, she sounds great.
She's a good egg. But it's been a few years. I was taking a shower, and I left my phone on the coffee table, and it lit up, and it was the gal. And this is before, like, those iPhones were pretty new. I didn't have a passcode, so you could go in there and see the whole 9. I'm actually more of a 6-inch. But, yeah, you could see the whole to-do.
How long had it been going on?
It was a one-time thing,
okay.
But that was
But there
enough.
was still some talk about it.
Yeah, there was a lot of texting about what happened. So she got to read the gooey details.
The texting about what happened, like, this can't ever happen again because I'm in a relationship?
No,
or...
this was hot when we did that and that and that.
Oh,
yeah, so she got a nice front row seat. And, the curtain came open, and I was like, hey, what's shaking? And then the phone came in and dropped the phone, and I jumped out naked, pleading, denying, naked, wet in the living room, which is never a good look. And that was that.
You tried to deny it? Like, how?
She's crazy. She's making all this. It was just desperation kicking in. Wet pubes, bad look.
Dry pubes aren't so great either.
I guess you're right. But if you see a guy with dry pubes, at least you're like, well, there's pubes. But if you see a guy with wet pubes, you're like, well, that's a little off-putting. But I guess I was in the shower. I don't know. Call in if you have an opinion on pubes.
It's times like this I really wish we took calls.
The phones are lighting up.
I don't know
folks.
whether to talk about your cheating or to talk about your assertion that wet pubes are somehow confusing if you see them.
I don't think confusing. I just think it's a bad sign. Anytime you see a guy with wet pubes, it's rarely a good situation.
Because he's just run out of the shower, or he was like caught in a trap. He fell in a puddle.
Yeah.
Or like he was. He got caught in the rain with no pants on.
Yes, that's always a weird. If you see a guy with wet pubes, something's going down.
The only time it's appropriate to see a guy with wet pubes is if he just got out of the shower.
There you go.
Or was skinny dipping, I guess.
I guess skinny dipping.
I've never skinny dipped, which probably doesn't surprise you since I wouldn't like New Orleans.
Yeah, you're right.
Have you?
I have, yeah.
How was it?
It's a little overrated because cold water doesn't help the junk area. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm just out there and not looking as good as I could. So I'm not into it. But if you just skinny dip and hook up immediately, that's cool. But if you're just like wading in the water, you're basically just like you're just showing off your non-impressive, goods.
Okay, let's go back to the shower and the cheating and all that. Well, so then what? So she showed you the phone. And by the way, I wonder how many people have been cheating and have gotten caught and it wasn't because of phone or email. I feel like that's how everyone is found out these days.
Yeah, that's 99 at least. But there's got to be some other weird thing, like a gift was sent or whatever the hell, or a phone call on a landline.
Someone,
like, I hear you breathing. That whole thing.
Or someone found underwear in the glove compartment. I feel like that is an old thing that happened in movies and TV shows.
Yeah, what a weird thing.
Yeah. Because why was it there?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you just
take it with you?
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Maybe you wanted to keep them as a keepsake, but...
Have you ever asked a girl if you can keep her underwear?
No, never. Just a tampon.
That's so gross. I'm going to guess that's a joke. I'm going to hope it's a joke. Okay.
Just a joke.
Okay, good. Okay. I think of myself as very open-minded in terms of period stuff.
Oh, really?
Because I certainly talk about it all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Almost with like an axe to grind. Like, so I talk about it all the time. Too much, arguably.
Uh-huh.
And a friend of mine recently started an Instagram account where she is showing pictures. Oh, here's that thing. Hang on one second.
Oh, God.
It's happening. Jeff, can you cut that out? Where she's had people send her pictures of their clothing that's been ruined from or stained from period blood or just all sorts of period. It's almost like an art project, but it also sort of has an agenda. It's like, let's normalize this.
Right.
And I wouldn't have expected this, but looking at the photos, I was like, this might be even a little bit too much for me. Just seeing do you know what a Diva Cup is?
No.
It's an alternative to a tampon. I've never used it, although people have recommended it a number of times. It's like this little cup that goes in there and it catches all the blood.
Oh, I've heard about that.
And then you take it out and you dump it out. So it was like a picture of this cup. Because I'm cool with periods, but I'm not okay with blood.
Yeah, well, that's just blood now. I mean, this is getting a little off the beaten path here.
It is.
Also, horrible name for that. The name sounds pretty cool. Like Diva Cup. Sounds like a chalice.
Right.
And now it's this cup that,
Like, let's
collects.
have some champagne.
Yes.
So bring me my Diva Cup.
Yeah, but now it's just uterine lining in a little cup.
You actually probably could do a shot out of a Diva Cup. I think so. But a clean one.
Bloody Mary.
Yes. Okay. It's funny. I still want to talk about you cheating, but I don't even have any more specific questions.
We should probably move on. I don't want to divulge if this gal is still listening.
Does she hate you?
I think she did, but she this is years ago, so I think we're cool now. But she has every right to hate me, and I fucked up, and I feel bad about it.
Do you think being in a relationship for all those formative years, like, how did that affect you?
Yikes. I think I just, I felt, this is like a guy thing. I think I felt a little clipped, and I think guys, and I think girls do this, not to generalize, but I think there's a lot of gals kind of, when you're in a relationship for a while, they kind of form you to be a little bit, like they kind of take the aggression out of you and then kind of get mad that you don't have the aggression. Does that make sense?
In the bedroom or in life?
Just in general, like they take away your oomph, your malehood, and then after a while they're kind of like, well, I want a man again. I'm like, well, I was, but you kind of took it out of me. Does that make sense?
It does, actually, even though I don't want it to. I want to be like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I kind of know exactly what you're talking about.
I appreciate the honesty.
Now, but do they take away your oomph and your manhood is it just attrition, like just from being in a relationship, or is it because they are kind of controlling?
I don't think it's controlling. Not with her. She was like a cool, fun, just great person. I think it's wear and tear over the years, like I need you to do this, and because
I know that with my husband, I am very much like, I didn't like your tone.
Yeah,
I've never actually said those words, but there's a lot of like, I need to be respected. I need you to understand my feelings, like all of that, which actually, all of that is sort of the opposite of oomph.
Yes.
The opposite of like, of primal oomph.
Yeah, like as a guy, I think it's attractive when a guy's like running around town and handling his business and, living his life the way he wants to do it and kind of living on his own terms. I think that's kind of hot. A guy's like, he's a hunter-gatherer type, and then, it's after a few years of being in a relationship, you're just kind of a gatherer.
That's so interesting. It's such a bummer. And it's ironic. It's a whole bunch of things. It's so true because it's very attractive when a guy is all those things you just said,
yes.
But that doesn't work well in a team, as a member of the relationship.
Completely. I mean, it's a whole rock star thing. You look at a rock star, the drummer's hot, he's out there, he's sleeveless, tattoos, hair shaking, sweaty, and then you take that hot, sexy guy and you put him in a relationship and it's, where are we going? Oh, do you want Thai? I don't know. Whatever you want. Oh, come on. What do you like? Whatever you want. Now you're sitting at a dinner quiet. The whole thing's taken away.
Yeah.
And that's not a woman's fault. It's just how life works. You can't be the drummer 100% of the time.
It's so true.
So true.
So, okay. New Orleans. You mentioned before the podcast started that you were a bedwetter.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
And it's in your bio, actually. And I told you that I didn't know whether it was a joke or it was real. Apparently it's real.
Uh-huh.
Till what age?
Man, I was a late unbloomer. I probably wet the bed till I was 13, 14. It became more sporadic, but it was every night basically for a while, and then it became like once a week, then once every 2 weeks, and then eventually nothing. But I used to get drunk a lot and wet the bed.
Oh.
I was that guy.
Wait, were you drinking as a young person?
No, I mean, I probably started drinking when I was 13, 14, but I'm talking like blackout nights. It was always a guaranteed bed wet.
I have a friend who I believe probably still right now is in a bar somewhere being like really hilarious and really funny and also wetting his pants.
There you go.
Like I've seen him wet his pants in a bar.
Whoa.
Yeah, and be unaware.
Wow, that's
and it's
bad.
just but it's just a thing that like everyone accepts about him. Like yeah, he drinks a lot and he has a small bladder, I guess.
He should get a diva cup.
And now I'm thinking, oh, is he going to hear this? Because he sometimes listens. If you are, I love you. I love this about you.
Yeah, and
you
what a
just
hero.
do you.
Yes, and everybody knows
I think he has
about
no
it.
shame about it.
There you
it's
go.
Pretty, yeah.
You've all accepted it. I think it's pretty cool.
I mean, maybe you drink a little too much. Now maybe you could dial it back just a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yes, and in your special, there are plenty of jokes about drinking and hangovers.
Yes.
Do you feel like you have a problem?
I think I did. I've cut back. I'll have like a beer a week or something like that now.
Oh.
So I've really...
That's a pretty strict cutting back.
Yeah. I really like beer. I like whiskey. I like a scotch. But I drink it to actually enjoy it instead of just to get fucked up, which is what I did before. Before I was the guy like at the end of the bar... Oh, there's a glass of wine that no one finished. I would chug that. Oh, there's a half a beer. I would chug that. Ooh, what is this? A little bit of, vodka on the rocks. And I was just that guy, just like trying to get as fucked up as I could.
And then what kind of drunk were you?
The fun guy. I never went like belligerent, never got in the fight mode. I was just the fun guy. But then I would get too fun where I'm like swiping people's ass crack, like credit card swipe guy, and twisting a nipple and all that. So... had to cut back. And then you start getting in the showbiz, and you're the drunk guy at the showbiz party, and you go up to the booker or whatever, and you do this and that, and you say a slur, and it's bad news.
So did you have was there an event that made you say, I need to dial it back?
I mean, I've had so many. I woke up in my mom's car once with cops knocking on the window. I was in the projects in my mom's Lexus, and I'd fallen asleep and pissed myself in the car, and a lady called the cops saying there's a white kid dead in the projects in a Lexus. So the cops showed up, and they pulled me out of the car, and I was soaking wet, and I gave my ID. My ID was dripping. It was the whole thing. So I've had a million. I got drunk and blacked out while driving, and I woke up, and I was riding the rail of the highway.
Oh, my God.
The highway rail was in the middle of my car, like a skateboard kind of thing. And I pulled off the highway, and both tires were flat, so I had to go to I had a 71 Cutlass, which is a rare car. I had to go find the right rim because both rims were shot. So I've had a million close calls.
I didn't know you were drunk driving as well.
Well, New Orleans, you got to drink.
You have to?
Yeah, you have to. You got to get home. There was no Uber back then.
Wow.
And I'm pretty good drunk driver, but,
That's what everyone who drives drunk says.
They do say that.
I
right.
used to say that.
But I've never had a DUI. I've never, died.
Yeah, but that's only
sheer luck.
Because you're luck.
Yeah,
you're lucky.
Right. Maybe I'm a lucky
you know
guy.
what? Maybe I'm not right. Maybe you're really good.
Like if I was drunk tonight, I could get around LA with a GPS on my lap and just, fine and driving around fine.
Okay, so back to New Orleans.
All right.
Bedwetting. Enos, was that his name?
Yeah, Enos.
Enos. Whatever happened to Enos?
I don't know. I should keep up, but I was pretty young when he was always following the wind. He just kind of went where the wind took him.
Mary Poppins.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, he was a savior. He taught me like how to dance. He taught me how to fight. He taught me how to like treat girls. Like always put the seat down and let them through the door first. All that shit. Because my parents were always gone, so he was like my guy.
What did your parents do?
They were both lawyers, and yeah, they were never home though. My mom was a lawyer, then she taught law at night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the hell my dad was doing, but yeah, they were never around. One time I walked in on a robbery, and after that, they moved their practice into the house. So that was kind of nice because I got to see him a little bit. But one time I was at summer camp and I was riding my bike home, which was always a gamble in my neighborhood, but got to get home. And these three kids were taunting me, from behind me, and they would do this move where they would rub their front tire on your back tire, meaning like we're gonna steal your bike, like slow down. And I was kind of like, yeah, we're good, leave me alone. And then, they pull up in front and do the skid move, and so you got to stop. And they kept being like, let me try your bike. Come on, let me try it. And I was like, I'm good. I'm 2 blocks away. Let me just get home. They're like, let me try it. And I was like, all right, what can you do? There's 3 of them. So one of them gets on your bike, and then they just ride off. And I told Enos, I ran home crying. I was probably like 12. Ran home crying, and Enos is like, fuck that. We're getting your bike back. I'm like, it's gone. Who knows where they live? And we jump in my parents' van, and we drive around. We find the bike. These kids are working on it on a stoop, like taking it apart and shit. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go. He's like, is that your bike? I'm like, that's it. And I'm slunched down because I don't want them to see me. I'm with this transvestite in a van. And he just gets out of the car, walks up to him and goes, give me that bike. It's not yours. And they're all going nuts. Like, look at this faggot, all this shit. They're going crazy. And he just grabs the bike out of the kid's hand, pulls it, walks back to the van, slides the door open, throws it in, and we drive off.
I love Enos.
He's a badass. In high heels, mind you, and a wig.
That is impressive.
Yes.
You got your bike back.
Got my bike back, never rode it again.
I was going to say.
I don't want to be that guy,
Right. Which guy? The guy who
I guess it's not even
wasn't listening the first time?
Yeah, the guy who had a transvestite get his bike back and now rides it again in the neighborhood. That old trope.
It's so hacky.
Yeah.
If it weren't true.
Exactly.
Okay.
The wheels are turning.
I know. There's so many directions. Yeah, there's so many directions we can go here.
Well, let's go with the most interesting.
Why did your parents choose this neighborhood?
Well, they're very liberal. Every time my bike got stolen, maybe 8 times, they would always be like, they need it. They need it more. A lot of that shit. And my dad is kind of a wild hair up his ass guy. Let's try this. He always kind of wanted more out of life, I think. And so when he got this deal on this house, it was so cheap because it was so fucked up and the neighborhood was so bad that he was like, let's do it. And he just had these visions of grandeur and all this. And he's kind of like a... What's the word when you're like, he has no money, but he wants to look like he has money? He like wants to be... Like, he'd always buy a Beamer, but it didn't run kind of thing.
Right.
So he was that guy, but in his mind, he's like, I'll fix this up. I'll be the toast of the town. I'll have a mansion. And it just never came to fruition because it was so expensive and the neighborhood and everything.
Right. So this is what I'm wondering. So I don't know how to articulate this in like a acceptable way, but growing up in this neighborhood, and you said the race relations were not good.
Well, we were the one white family.
Right. Did you find yourself becoming racist is what I want to ask.
It's my black friends always ask me that. They're
really?
like, how do you not hate black people? And I'm
okay.
like, I don't know.
Well, then I feel it's an acceptable question.
Yeah, black people asked it already. You're good. I don't know. It was because I went to school. I went to public school, and I had black friends at school. So I wasn't like, all black people are like this. It was just these people are poor and terrifying, and they hated us just because we were white. That's a lot of weird thing. People don't think other groups are racist. It's just white people. But no, they are, and pretty terrifying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're a kid and you're hated for being white, I could imagine in response you would then begin to hate people. Or fear them.
It was all fear, mostly.
Fear and hate are so closely tied, though.
I guess you're right, yeah.
I don't mean to tell you how you feel.
No, but that's true. I guess that's where hate comes from, is fear.
I think so.
Yeah, it was just more like, why don't they like me? Why don't they like me? I was worried about getting them to like me more than me. I already knew I was scared of them, but I felt like if I get them to like me, life will be good, which maybe is why I'm in comedy. But, I just was so scared all the time, and I wanted them. I would always try to play basketball. One time they were playing basketball on the local courts, and I went up and I was like, hey, can I get in? And a kid threw a basketball in my face, broke my nose. So that was and it hurt so bad. I was bleeding, but I just turned around and walked away because I didn't want them to see me crying. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of the vibe of the hood. It was pretty rough.
That is a very sad story.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hitting me on some kind of level.
Sorry. Well,
not the broken nose level, but just the can I be included?
Yeah.
And then 1,000% fuck no.
Right. Just because of you're different.
Yeah.
Did
you have your nose professionally set? Because it doesn't look like it's been broken.
Well, I was about 8. So I did have that cast thing on for a while, but I think it was set pretty well.
Do you have siblings?
Older brother. Now, he just stayed in the house the whole time because he was like, why would I go out there? It's crazy. And I was like, I was trying to make it work, but it wasn't working. But he was like, fuck it. So he just played on a computer all day, every day. And now he works as a computer programmer, and he's like a computer genius.
Oh, so it worked out.
Yeah, he got his 10,000 hours in. He knew DOS, when he was 8. So he was just a computer guy.
What college did you go to?
I went to a few.
What colleges?
I went to UNO. University of New Orleans. Then I went to the community college because I failed out, so I had to get my grades back up. Then I went to Southeastern. Then I went back to UNO to get my degree, and I finished online. I moved to New York, finished online.
Gotcha. When did you, and how did you get into comedy?
Well, again, the low self-esteem thing, I was one class clown in high school, always a fun guy, always cracking wise. And then I was working in a restaurant, and this guy said, "Hey, I'm a comedian. I think you'd be good at it." And I was like, who am I? Come on. It's like Carlin. I feel like that's like being an astronaut. And he was like, "Well, just try an open mic." So I got pretty hammered.
Was this in New Orleans?
No, it's in Baton Rouge, which is where Southeastern is, the school. And I got really drunk, and I was hooking up with this girl at the time who had a yeast infection. So she gave me a yeast infection. So I talked about that on stage, and it did pretty well. Yeah, and it felt great. And I was like, I think this is something. And I was so rudderless, and I had zero going on. I lived in a house with 5 guys. We were drunks and idiots. So I had some kind of aspiration now, which felt good. Like, not even to be famous, just like, I could get good at this, and this is a hobby. Let's do it.
Right.
And so I was hooked. I was like looking in the phone book for open mics and comedy clubs and driving 8 hours to do this and that. So I had something going on, and then I said, fuck it, I'm moving to New York. And that was
to pursue comedy.
Yeah.
And so how long were you in New York?
I'm still there. I've been there about 10 years almost. But brutal transition. Moved to New York with $400.
Wow.
Got mugged 3 times in a year. Landlord died of AIDS. And I got bed bugs in New York.
Then what happened?
Then it just kept getting
better.
a little better, a little better.
Yeah.
It took years. But, you have no money, so you can't do anything there. And
Did you work... You must have held down jobs while you were there.
Oh, yeah, all kinds of day jobs.
What kind of stuff?
My first job was I worked at New York Film Academy as a file clerk. And I just worked in a big room with wall-to-wall file cabinets and a little ladder, and they would just bring in stacks all throughout the day, and I would just put them, file them, and it was the worst job ever. Paper cuts, and the clock wouldn't move, and it was so many manila folders. I hate manila. And, yeah, and it was from 9 to 6:30. It was brutal. And I would go on my lunch break, and I found a space in the attic that no one used, and I would write in the attic. It was like out of a movie. And I would write jokes in the attic, and then I would do open mics all night, every night.
How'd you meet Amy?
I was doing a club called Comics, which is no longer there. It was on 14th Street.
I have been to Comics.
Have you? With an X?
Yes.
Yes. No longer there. Great club. It was just too expensive.
Didn't it have another club in the basement? Was that
Yes.
Comics? Otto's Shrunken Head?
Ochie's Lounge.
Otto's Shrunken Head is something else.
That's a surfer bar on the east side.
Okay.
Yeah, also on 14th Street. But that also has a comedy show. But Ochie's Lounge was like where the open mic guys went.
Yeah.
And then the big headliners were upstairs. And so I was in the upstairs room, and it was like a big deal for me. I had, no money. I was nothing going on. And I was bombing, but one joke worked. And while I was telling that one joke, Amy happened to walk through. And she came into the green room, and she was nobody then. She was just a New York comedian. And she came in, she's like, "Hey, I like that joke. That was really funny." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." And she's like, "I'm doing Hofstra University if you want to open for me." And I was like, "Oh my God, of course, sure." I just knew her as this older comic. I didn't know who the hell she was really.
Right.
And we went up to we took the LIRR, which I'd never taken, never been to Penn Station. She bought me a beer at TGI Fridays, which was like a huge deal. I was literally penniless, literally. And she took me out there. We had dinner with her mom, and we did the club or the college. I bombed, and there was like 8 people in the crowd. And then we took the train back, and she was like, "Yeah, this was fun. You're easy to work with, whatever. Here's some more dates." And she gave me dates. She gave me like Chicago and Denver and Indianapolis. And now I'm a comic.
Wow.
And
that's really serendipitous.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, the luck I had was perfect. And then I watched her go from doing the roast.
So really like how, because I'm sort of familiar with her rise. Like at what point was this? What year was this?
I'd say 2009, early 2009, maybe 2008, maybe, but I think 2009. And she was
okay. So she was not a big name yet.
No, she hadn't done anything of note really. She was on Last Comic Standing, and I think Ellen. That was her claim to fame. And then as I got to know her more, a few months and years passed, she did the Charlie Sheen roast, which was like huge. That was a big catapulter. And then she got her own hour special, which I opened for at the Fillmore in San Fran. That was fun. And then she showed me this thing. She was like, "Hey, look, I'm working on this TV show." And it was Inside Amy Schumer. She showed me on her laptop. And I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And she's like, "I think it might go." And then she sold that. So now she's got a TV show. And then we'd all go out drinking after shows. And she was in her hotel room just typing away. And that was Trainwreck, which she was writing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And so she just had a plan the whole time. And we were all getting high and drunk and trying to get laid. And she was off working and planning for the future.
So are you guys good friends, or do you have a working relationship?
It's definitely a working relationship, but I talked to her today. Like, we're buds. We're like text close. You know what I mean? And she had a party last week. I went to that. So like we're cool, but as a comics, you can only be so close, I feel like, because we're kind of guarded.
Right.
Also, I am her opener, so I don't want to like step on any toes. She's still like, she's given me so much. She's so generous and loyal. So, and also I'm a weirdo too. I can't get close to people. Like sometimes she'll look me down and go, "Say you love me. Say it." And I'm like, I can't. She makes me feel weird. It's like Goodwill Hunting, you know, and she's hugging me like, it's not your fault. So she totally gets me and I get her, and we understand that. And we don't have to like call each other every day, you know.
So what do you think is required to have that sort of, like, what is it about you that makes you a good opener for her? Because I imagine you've probably thought about it before.
Oh, yeah, all the time. Well, we're both big introverts. She is an introvert. Like, she would rather go in a hotel room after the show and just watch a movie, pajamas, maybe a joint, and an order in. And so that's good. And I got nothing to say. I hate small talk. I hate all that. So, like, we'll just sit on a private jet for 4 hours, and no one will have said anything, and she'll just lean back and be like, "You want this?" And she'll be like a half a sandwich. I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And that'll be it for the whole flight, and it's not anything bad. It's just we got nothing to say, and we don't need to say anything. So I think that is what it was. And when she told me somebody said that she once said about me, he never tried to bang me, he's low maintenance, and he does well on stage, and so that's why I use him.
Did you ever think about trying to bang her?
Nah, never. I mean, she's a sexy woman and all that, but like, I don't know. I'd rather the work.
Because I guess that's what I was wondering when she initially approached you and was like, "Hey, that was funny. Want to, open for me at Hofstra?" And this is like the first time you guys are hanging out. Was there any sort of flirty vibe?
Not really. No. I don't know.
Were you with the girl you later cheated on at the time?
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
But I still, would flirt with girls.
Yeah, clearly you weren't faithful, so.
Yeah. But it never, I mean, I don't know if this sounds offensive. That's the hard thing about being a guy is like, if you don't flirt, you're what's wrong with me? And if you do flirt, it's like, hey, I'm not a piece of meat, so you're kind of like, oh, shit. But I just never got the vibe from her, and I saw her as a comic. She's like, "You want to open for me?" And the pinball light lit up in my head of like, work, yes, right. Comedy, right. Career. So there was always that, and all my friends were always like, "Dude, what's it like? And how's the BJ? What's And I was like, never even came up.
So when you guys go on the private jet, which I'm going to need to know what that experience is like.
I have a lot of photos.
Is it usually just the two of you, or
no? It'll be like there's like a road manager, her sister maybe, or
her sister travels a lot.
A lot of sister, a lot of brother. She has a band open for her as well because her brother's in a band, so she's like helping him out. So it's like him, the drummer, the bass player, and then she'll have like a hair girl or a makeup girl, and then maybe a manager every now and then. So it's always a full bag. Mm-hmm. But we've gone on places alone together where, like, we'll just jump on the Metro North or something or Amtrak and go to D.C. and then come back.
Okay, so what's being on a private jet like?
Oh, I mean, it's the best because you forget how easy travel is, but we just make it so hard. Security and, there's other people there. And it's basically the difference between getting in an Uber and getting on a Greyhound. Mm-hmm. It's just less people to worry about, less people to wait for. She's rich, so we don't need to go through security because what's she gonna do? Hijack her own plane, So like, if your flight is at 5, you get to the airport at 4:58. You get on the plane, you leave, and then there's booze. You get up and get your own drinks. You make a sandwich on the plane. There's like a spread of food. It's crazy.
You don't even wear a seatbelt, do you?
You don't wear a seatbelt. She's got a bed in the back, so she can just lay down. She's watching, Captain Ron on a laptop back there, and it's great. You kick your feet up. It's got Wi-Fi. I got a podcast.
Are the bathrooms pretty nice? Bathrooms
are small but nice, but yeah, small, but it's like a New York bathroom. Nice big toilet, and the private jet. The drawers are full. I always steal from the private jets, which is kind of ironic. But it'll be like tubes of toothpaste, toothbrushes, dental floss, and all that. And I just take all of it and put it in my bag.
Ironic because if you're on a private jet, why do you need to steal?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Never thought about that before, but I do it.
And what kind of... I don't even care if no one cares about this anymore. I care.
Yeah,
I just imagine people being like, it's too many questions about this. What kind of airports are you flying out of? Are there private jet airports?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a jet company called Signature, and they have like Teterboro and all these major cities have like a little town next to it with a nice airport. And we saw Bill Maher walk through once. You always see these celebrities coming in and out,
right?
And it's pretty cool. And there's like free food there. There's big screen TVs, and it's almost like the whole thing is one first class lounge. And there's a million little planes out there, and the pilots are so nice, and the flight attendant, I almost said stewardess, they're so, like, happy. Flight attendants.
Yeah, it's like how they are in first class.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, oh, you can modulate. You don't have to be miserable.
There you go.
But you crank up the miserable for coach, I guess, because otherwise there's nowhere to go.
Right, exactly. And I'm sure the coach people are cunts too, so they just get used to cunty on cunty. You know what I mean?
Right.
Horrible radio team. But yeah. So it's just great, and then when you go back to a commercial flight, you're like, oh yeah, I'm back in the cattle call here. This is crazy. It's so much worse than it needs to be. But I think when you have just the unwashed masses, you got to treat them like idiots. So just to get through everything, all right, single file line, group 1, group 2, or else it would just be fucking chaos. So we need that shitty regiment.
I guess.
We don't, but...
No, not us, but them.
The guy in Crocs and jean shorts and the neck tattoo, and it's a whole different story. I don't want to, hurt and offend your Crocs and jean short neck tattoo audience.
Like what kind of jean shorts? Cutoffs?
No, cutoffs I like. Like on a girl, I think that's hot.
No, but the guy who's got the neck tattoo and the jean shorts. I think
there's a regular jean short with a hammer loop.
Oh.
That's the worst.
I don't even think I know what a hammer loop is.
Oh, you know a hammer loop.
I mean, I can imagine a hammer hanging from like someone's jean shorts.
Yeah.
I guess that's a hammer loop.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying I think a cutoff jean short has a little more, at least they planned it.
Right.
Some weirdo bought jean short as pants. That's way worse.
Okay, so we were talking about introverts.
Yeah.
Which comedians would you say are true extroverts? Because you meet comedians all the time.
Yeah, that's a good question. They're out there. I think more of the improv world is extroverts. Like a Dana Carvey, who I met last night, is an extrovert. He's in the green room, yucking it up, just freewheeling, talking without thinking, and we're all loving it.
Right.
And as an introvert, I'm like, great, you hold court. I'm happy to just sit here. Because once the attention comes on me, ironically, I panic.
Unless you have material?
Unless I have material and a microphone in a setting where audience is wanting to hear me, which is crazy how much I need to actually...
Have permission?
Yeah. But, yeah, like guys like that, like I've never met Will Ferrell, but I imagine he's probably extroverted. And I think the stand-ups, not improv and actors, the stand-ups who are extroverted tend to be less funny. I think an introvert is better because he's just observing constantly,
right.
And he's thinking and analyzing and working on shit in his head. But the extrovert is too busy living, so he's not taking in as much information.
So who are some other like true introverts?
Oh man, like Louis C.K. He just sits there quietly, and he's like, I'm not saying he's a boring guy. He's fun, but he's just a quiet dude. He's reading or something. Who else? Dave Attell. He's just a quiet weirdo, just lurking through the night, smoking and looking at porn.
I love him.
He's the best.
I had him on my show, and for some reason I was intimidated ahead of time.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was expecting, like something really like acerbic or can I keep up? And he was like a big sweetheart.
Sweetest
nicest guy.
He's a big we're all mushy guys.
Yeah.
We just drink and smoke and stay out late because we're trying to seem dark or whatever. I don't know, but we just we're all weak and sad.
So who else? Who else would you say is an introvert?
I think the good ones, like Dave Chappelle, quiet guy, very quiet. Just sits there, smokes cigarettes, and pontificates, and thinks. He's a real ponderer. You tell him something, and he takes like a little bit too long time to respond because he's just stewing in it. And you get all anxious, like, oh shit, was that stupid? But he's just thinking, Chris Rock is actually, I've met him, and he's like one of my heroes, and he's pretty comfortable, just in his own skin kind of guy. He's one of those guys, he's like, I need to be better at comedy. But as a hang, he's just pretty laid back.
Have you met Madonna?
I did. She was pretty comfortable. She seemed like just a normal lady, just a confident lady. Still hot, by the way.
Who else have you met that we can ask you about?
Jeez. I met Marissa Tomei recently.
Oh.
She was cool. Just a normal woman, I met her at a party at Amy's house, and she was just dancing to hip-hop, and it was super hot, by the way. I had a thing for her and my cousin Vinny. And just like, you meet her, she's like, hey, how are you? Good. I met Molly Shannon. Molly Shannon was fun, because she's kind of like, oh, sorry, am I in the way? Everybody okay? Like, she's kind of...
Like a people pleaser or
no,
insecure?
just like she kind of thought she was a burden on everyone, which I totally relate to. Conan O'Brien, incredibly introverted, like just goes in on himself. Everything he asks you, he's like, oh, that was dumb. Sorry. Oh, shit, I'm an idiot, Which is so funny because I think that's true of life is people who are seem a certain way are actually the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. Like the guy who hates gays is actually gay, that kind of thing. And it's the same with comedy. The guy who's the funniest and loudest is actually the most meek in real life.
Right. Do you consider yourself meek?
I don't think I'm meek. I've figured out a nice way to blend it and hide it. I've kind of created a nice little, persona, I think, that I've perfected. If anything, in my life, I've perfected that and not my act. But the act takes longer because I didn't start comedy till I was 22, but I started this thing when I was 3. So
there was a tweet that I wanted to ask you about, but I should have written down the exact wording. But it was something like, dreams make other people's life difficult.
Yeah.
And I feel like I know what you meant by that, but what did you mean by that?
Well, I think living a dream, which is like this big thing in America, follow your dream and go for it, but they make other people's lives harder because we need janitors, we need garbage men, we need, and garbage women, and we need, a little everything. You need the shitty job, but no one ever goes, you can do it, you can be a janitor. So your dreams are taking away, you're making one less janitor, one less guy to clean, and this guy's got to clean for you. So I think, like, I've had girlfriends where they're like, hey, we should go hang out. I'm like, I got to do a set. And so now we can't hang out. Mm-hmm. So now that sucks. My parents have to give me money or have whatever to keep me going when I was starting. So now they're giving me money for my dream. It's a very selfish thing.
So
you need other people's sweat a little bit,
right,
to accomplish your dream. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like in the course of pursuing your dream, you're inconveniencing people.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Do you think it's selfish that you pursued your dream?
In some aspects, yeah. But I think you got to be a little selfish in life, or you're kind of fucked.
I think you're right, but I also kind of hate that.
I hate it too, but life isn't fair, as they say.
So this special,
yes.
Where did you record it?
I recorded in a synagogue in Lower East Side.
I watched it.
Did you really?
Very funny.
Wow, thanks.
That's a synagogue?
Yeah, it's old, 1840 something. It's beautiful.
The stage looks like a real stage.
I know.
I mean, I guess they would have a real stage. But...
yeah, it's very gothic. I don't know. I felt when I went there, excuse me. I went to go see like 80 different venues, and this one just was
80?
Different. It's probably like 30. But this one was just different and weird, and I'd never seen a special in a place like this, and Amy wasn't crazy about it, but I pushed, and I think it turned out kind of cool looking. It felt kind of New Orleans-y to me. It had like that old voodoo vibe or something, so I went with it.
What did she want?
I think she wanted a standard, because she's like, you don't want the set to take away. It's all about the jokes, the writing, the ideas, and I was like, I know, but it's pretty enough, but it's not crazy. There's not a crazy background or anything, so I think I fought her on that one, and it worked, but she wanted just more basic. Just let the jokes talk. Don't let the stage talk. And
so how did the special come about and her involvement?
Well, I mean, I've just been opening for her for years, and she would always kind of throw it out there. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I wasn't going to get one. I'm not, like, special enough to get one. I'm just, there's a million straight white guys. I got nothing about me that's that crazy. I mean, I think I have some good jokes, but I'm not like, there's no heat coming off of this guy right here, And I think she was like, look, I think you're a good comic and you should have an hour, but the days of just giving an hour to a guy for being funny is kind of over. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think you have to have something more. You have to have like a hit YouTube or be on a show or be on a big podcast. Well, you got to have some kind of juice now. So she was like, I'll throw you a bone.
Like you have to have already achieved all the things you're hoping your special will help you achieve.
Boom. Wow. Couldn't have said it better. That was great.
That's bullshit.
That's how that.
I mean, it's not bullshit. It's just the way it is, but it sucks.
Somebody put it well. They said this guy, like an 80s comic, he was like, when I started out, there was 15 comics in America, and now there's 15 comics in Phoenix. And I was like, that's exactly right. Now, you can't go to Netflix without stumbling on 38 specials that should have never been made.
Right.
They're horrible, and you're like, why is this guy doing? This guy stinks. And so there's a million of those, and nobody wants to be the guy to put one of those out. Mm-hmm. So she was like, well, I know you, and I like your act, so I'll put it out.
But Comedy Central is releasing it, right?
Well, yeah, she still needed an avenue, but she has a good relationship with them, so...
Does she have a production deal with them?
I think so. I don't know. I know nothing about business, but she does have a production company, and she was on that channel with her TV show. So
right.
I assume they're in cahoots.
So are you excited for it to come out?
Pretty excited. I hate everything I've done, but I actually was pretty proud of this. Obviously, I've seen it and heard it a bunch. I'm like, I could have done that better. That's not great. That sucked, but it's pretty good. And I'm a big comedy nerd, so if I'm okay with it, then that's a good sign.
I was watching it, and I was laughing while watching it, and my husband was he got home from work at like 7, and then he just got on the bed and napped. So it was not. It was like it's too late to be a nap, but it's also not really going to bed for the evening.
Right.
So I don't know what it is. It's just checking out of reality.
Hey,
but anyway, he was like, "Who is that? He's funny."
Oh, is that right? Mm-hmm. That's all I want out of life,
Someone's sleeping husband to think you're funny.
Yeah, just who is that? He's funny because it means he's actually funny. You're not like, oh, I know that guy. I'll give him a shot. He's actually...
Yeah, no, he was just hearing it and thought you were funny.
That's the best thing I can hear. Thank you. That's nice. Because I don't care about the money. I just want people to see it, and I want people to laugh at it, and that's it. I just want people to go, oh, this guy's all right. That's it.
And it comes out May 12th. Or
yes.
premieres May 12th.
You got it. Then they'll probably be on some streaming, whatever the hell.
Right.
Yeah. Boy, it's good to sit down. Can I complain about LA for a minute? I don't want to. I don't know how much.
No, complain, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to complain.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to tell people to buy stuff on Amazon through my banner, and then we're going to do Just Mere Everyone. So it's all it's all that. I just mapped it out for you. All
right. I don't want you to feel like you're looking for stuff.
Oh no, I'm not.
All right. Just checking. Oh, hey, look at that. The dog came in the room. Yeah, geez, the city, it's killing me because my manager's just loading me up with stuff, and my publicist, like podcast, audition. I'm pitching a show, too, so I'm doing these show pitches. And it's just, you think, all right, well, I'll do the podcast from 2 to 3. Then I'll be out by 3:30, and I'll be on the road. But then you forget, you bullshit after a pod, so that takes 20 minutes. Then you get in your car, you check your phone for 20 minutes, then you get on the road, and traffic, it says 30 minutes, but it turns into 58 minutes.
Yep.
And it's just, then you got to park, and it's just killing me. And last night I had to do this photo shoot, and we didn't get home till 4, and then all the parking spots around LA were street cleaning Wednesday. So now I'm like, shit, I got to fucking park here because it's the only spot left. Now I got to get up at 7:30 to move the car, and you're in your boxers. You got,
wet pubes.
You got drool on your mouth. The city is... In New York, you can just run around, and you have no car, you have no parking, you have nothing. You just jump on a train, you jump off, and I feel like it's so much easier.
It is easier. And when I lived in New York, I was very punctual.
Yes!
It's hard. You're either early or late here. It's impossible to be there on time.
There's a lot of walking around the block to kill time, and then you're mad at yourself. You're like, oh, I hate wasting time. But then you're sitting in your car, you're like, I got to be there at 3, and it's 2:48, and the GPS says 28 minutes. God, it's the worst. And a lot of people in LA, I'm like, I do their podcast, and this is the only thing they've done today. And I'm like, that's crazy. But I get it, because it's so much work to do everything.
So you won't be moving here?
No.
Where in New York do you live?
West Village. Just bought my place.
Oh, wow.
I sat on all that touring money and just saved it.
Congratulations.
Thanks. It's small, but it's all mine.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That is amazing. You're a true adult.
True adult. Not wet in the bed, baby. My parents, they were more proud of me buying a place than any accomplishment. with
Parents
comedy.
are very excited by that.
Oh, well, it's some stability, you know.
Yeah.
I've done Conan 4 times, Colbert, I got the hour special, and they're like, yeah, you bought a place, mortgage, high five.
Yeah.
That's all.
I rent.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
This is a rent?
This is a rent.
This is
there's no way we could own this.
Beautiful place, by the way.
Thank you.
It's so roomy and
it's very big.
It's big.
Nice. Yeah.
It's open air. I like the archway and everything. Great. And you got a balcony, right?
I do.
Ah, come on, you're killing it. Carpeted, wall to wall. You got a fireplace.
I actually don't mind. A lot of people like hardwood, and I see the appeal, but carpet is more cozy.
It is cozy. You can just lay on the floor.
Mm-hmm. We're actually looking to move, though.
What?
Because we want to buy.
Okay.
Because we have a baby now. So living up a flight of stairs is not ideal. And also we want a yard and all that. You know, the dream of a yard.
Right.
So we will be buying a place much smaller, probably.
Well.
And I don't know where. So you guys, if you're going to buy something on Amazon, which you are because they have everything, probably your special will be for sale on Amazon eventually, right?
Oh, God, I hope
not
so.
already.
Yeah. My old album is, that's for sure.
What?
This is my second album.
Remind us the name of that.
Still Got It.
Still Got It.
Yeah.
But what's the name? Just kidding. Go get Still Got It. Mark Norman's apparently not proud of that one because you said that your special is like the only thing you're proud of.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't crazy about it. You're right.
But go get it anyway.
Yeah.
Or get something else while you're there because Amazon has everything. Click through the banner on my website, AllisonRosen.com. Doesn't cost you anything extra. Helps out the show. Also, I'm on Patreon. Patreon.com/AllisonRosen is where you go. You can support the podcast on an ongoing monthly basis. There's different reward levels. We've got a level where you get a bonus episode each month or bonus episodes each month. There's a interactive live video stream. There's a level where you get merch in the mail. All sorts of super fun stuff. Patreon.com/AllisonRosen is where you go for that. And if you like what you're hearing, subscribe. iTunes.com/AllisonRosen. Let's do Just Me or Everyone.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
Okay, so this is where people write in with things they think or do, and they wonder, is it just me or is it everyone? And we weigh in. Demian Cordova says, I've gotten so used to a car with a backup camera, I forget what to do when I drive a car without one. Well, you probably don't drive very often anymore.
I grew up drove my whole life till I moved to New York, and I still drive to road gigs, and every time I come to LA, I rent a car. So I'm a driver.
So where are you with the backup camera then?
I got one on my rental right now, and it's a dream, but I don't, I'm still looking back like an idiot.
I don't know if that's like an idiot. I don't rely on the back. I'm afraid to rely on the backup camera.
I am too, but it is good for getting close,
yes,
but
totally.
Eyes, it's not good. You still want your own eyes.
Yes. Hydration Nation, wow, says, just me or everyone, sit more to one side of the toilet and stretch other cheek to the other side to minimize the need to wipe.
Ooh, that's just you.
I mean, I know what you're saying, but does that actually minimize the need to wipe? I guess
think
it's
so.
Because there's not like
no walls,
cheek smush.
Yeah.
Well, it's smart.
That's smart. It's practical, but you don't want to get. That's how you get a hemorrhoid.
Is it?
Yeah, you don't want to stretch that out.
Yeah, I think that when I just feel like a vague memory or sense of like doing it too much feels dangerous.
Yes, I completely agree.
Like, I mean, not that I've ever taken a shit, but if you're spread like that and then something blasts through, who knows what could rip?
Oh my God, yeah.
I just had a kid, yeah. So I think I was actually, as I was saying it, I was like, I feel like I've used all these words recently to describe something else.
Right.
Because that is the fear with. I actually said that. No one wants to hear this. I'm going to share this part anyway.
Yeah, sing it, sister.
When I was starting to crown, my doctor was like, okay, let's just, wait and let me, because I was very, very afraid of tearing, because I have a lot of friends who had kids who had to get a ton of stitches, and I was like, possibly more than anything else, that's what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
So I had started talking to my doctor really early about like, is there a way to avoid tearing with the first kid? Because with the second kid, it's easier. And she assured me that she would do everything in her, because I didn't realize a lot of it has to do with how the doctor is managing the labor, like how fast they let the baby come out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So she assured me that she would do everything in her power to prevent it, which basically means when the head starts coming out, they kind of hold it there to let you stretch.
Whoa.
And then also like massage, and she was pouring mineral oil on the area and like massaging it.
This is getting hot.
It was so not hot.
I know.
Ask my husband. But anyway,
boy.
So she was, kind of holding, as I was crowning, like just letting me stretch, which was incredibly uncomfortable. So uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, because you get the urge to push.
Yes.
And I said, I'm feeling the urge to push. She's like, okay, then push. And I remember I said, but I don't want to blast them on out. I guess that's not really how it works. Because in my head, it's like if I push, the baby's just going to go flying across the room. Because he's all lubed up now, too.
Yeah,
he's going
right.
to fly across the room.
And then the umbilical cord snaps him back.
Exactly. And like bangs me in the eye, though.
Yeah.
Be very slapstick.
Right.
Okay. Val Perkins says, bed is always comfy, but never as comfy as it is in the mornings. # 5 more minutes.
I agree.
It's never as comfortable, and it's never as easy to sleep as when your alarm is going off way before you want to get up.
Why is that?
It's just painful. I don't know.
Sleep is almost like a beautiful woman where if you try too hard, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You got to just go in like you don't give a shit, which I can't do.
Tracy, when it comes to sleep or beautiful women?
Both.
Tracy says, watching My Strange Addiction and the like helped me feel so much less like a weirdo. I've actually never seen My Strange Addiction.
Me neither.
Okay. But it shows, and then # licking cats, # coffee enemas.
What?
Ugh.
I'm confused.
They both sound gross.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people do coffee enemas, but I've thankfully never had an enema, and I don't want to have one.
What is that an enema with coffee?
Yeah.
What? Why?
I think, I don't know.
You put coffee in your asshole.
Yeah.
Cream and sugar?
Well, it depends. How do you take it?
I guess
black. I think it's black. Or is it coffee ground? No, I think it's black.
Oh, weird. Is it warm? What about iced coffee? That could get cold.
Yeah, I don't know. And also I think that it must wake you. I think you absorb the caffeine. But I don't think
what it is?
I don't think that's why people do it though.
Well, it's got to be a perk. Because
Yeah.
your butthole is very
Absorbent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the whole, what do you call it, when you put the pill in there?
Suppository?
That's the one.
Okay. Leela Rolling Stone says, "What, have you had a suppository before?"
No, but I had to put one in my girlfriend once when she got her wisdom teeth taken out because she couldn't swallow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What was it, a painkiller?
Yeah.
That's nice of you.
Yeah. Melted right away. The asshole is quite...
Warm?
Thank you. I was going to say loving.
Well, I wish I hadn't stepped on that then.
No.
Leela Rolling Stone says, if one bless you for many sneezes, how many does it cover? Is there any window of time that it applies to? I actually don't like when someone says bless you before you sneeze.
I hate that.
It kind of scares the sneeze away.
Yeah, right.
But they're trying to be extra polite. They're trying to be so polite that they're just like I'm getting my bless you out there.
Yeah.
Is this a Seinfeld bit? Not that it's good enough to be a Seinfeld bit, but occasionally I'll talk about stuff like this and then I find out that it was in a Seinfeld episode and I feel very yucky.
Oh, I'm the biggest Seinfeld fan and it's not in there.
This feels new. Okay, good.
He has one where he says, we shouldn't say God bless you because we used to think spirits came out of it, but we know they don't. So you should say, you're so good looking. That was his show.
Right.
That was on his show. But no, you're a Seinfeld nut?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, but I like Seinfeld a lot, but I would not say I'm a Seinfeld nut.
Okay. The stand-up I'm okay with, but the show changed my life.
Yeah.
Huge. All right, but I don't want to cut off your whatever.
No, the important discussion of bless yous. All I'm saying is if you see me go, and I'm making the sneeze face, save the bless you till the fruition of the sneeze.
Right.
Because otherwise it's going to hide out.
Yeah, you don't want a guy who's too excited to say bless you because then it's about him. I'm the one sneezing, you know?
That's right. Don't steal my thunder.
Yes.
Hannah Jo Howard says, hate when people say 8 a.m. in the morning, either a.m. or morning, not both.
Makes sense.
It does. I've never been bothered by that.
Not me either, but she's onto something.
Also, I'm not bothered by ATM machine.
Yeah.
Many people are.
Are they bothered or do they just like to correct?
I don't know.
I think they like to correct.
I think you're right.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And similar, I'm trying to think of other one, like La Brea tar pits. People are like, La Brea means tar.
Is that right?
I believe, yes. So people
I
like
didn't know
to. It's like a bilingual ATM machine.
Ah, all right.
I guess I'm just not bothered by any of those things. And yet I am bothered by a lot of things, just
Me
not
too.
those.
Yeah, me too.
And lastly, Laura Wilhite says, I always want to order the purse at the bar a drink. #rude patron, #need that seat. And then she included a photo of a woman sitting at a bar, and then her purse is sitting next to her on the bar stool next to her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Sure.
And it would be funny if you did order the purse a drink.
Yeah, but no one would laugh.
I would.
You would laugh?
I mean, in that moment, no, I'd feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah, me too.
but reading about it, I think it's funny.
If I was a woman with a purse and somebody ordered my purse a drink, I'd be like, yeah, thanks. And then I would drink the drink. Just because, like...
Because your purse is not going to drink it.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody's going to drink it.
Oh, my God. But how funny would it be to get a drink and then put a straw in the drink and then the other end of the straw in the purse?
That would be better.
I mean, that's just a sight gag.
Yeah.
That's
a good
hilarious.
time. Yeah, my purse is a drunk.
Mark Normand, and by the way, do you pronounce the D?
No.
So just Mark Normand.
It's a French name, and some people give me the full Normand, which makes me uncomfortable. But yeah, it's Norman.
So I've been mispronouncing it every single time I've said it.
Well, you can say it if you want. I just don't. And a lot of people leave it off.
I don't think it works that way. I don't think it works that way. I think it's like, this is how I say it, or this is not how I say it.
But I don't know the correct one. I just go with what I say.
Normand, probably.
No, I say Norman.
No, but I'm saying...
Oh, the correct way. Yeah,
well,
you're probably
going to be
right.
all Frenchy about it.
Yeah, but come on.
Right.
I'm not that. It's like Stefan or Stefan, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy.
But back to what I was saying, I've been saying it wrong every single time, probably.
Have you?
A little bit wrong. I've been pronouncing the D. I've been saying Mark Normand.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
That's wrong, though.
You're too worried about right and wrong. Live it up, sister. This is your problem. Were your parents hard on you?
Actually...
Were they strict?
What's weird is no, and yet you would... I can't explain it. There's a lot of... Looking at me, you would infer a lot of things about my relationship with my parents that just weren't quite the case. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what fucked me up or turned me into what I am.
Interesting.
Well... You know what, though? They weren't strict in the traditional sense.
Aha.
But they were overprotective. There were a lot of expectations.
But
it wasn't like if you ever get a bad grade in school, you're going to be in trouble. That being said, my sister and I never really got bad grades.
Right.
You know? And I was never grounded or punished. But I definitely knew when my parents were disappointed or upset in what I did. And it was almost like the punishment was worse because it was just being, having it explained to you why your behavior was absolutely not okay and why it hurts them personally.
That's
what it was. Everything was turned, like any sort of thing that wasn't cool with them, they took everything very personally. Mm-hmm. So I think I felt responsible for their feelings, and that's not true strictness, but I think it has the same effect on a kid.
Oh, completely.
It sort of inhibits your ability to just be a wild, crazy asshole because you have to be incredibly responsible and meticulous because you're in charge of adults' feelings.
Yes,
it's too much.
Well said. You think you nailed it. You just diagnosed the hell out of yourself.
I really did.
Yeah.
This has been really helpful for me, Mark Normand.
Oh, me too.
Thank you. But really, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited about your special coming out.
Thanks for watching. I can't believe you watched it. You've done more than my parents already.
I don't believe that to be the case. Tell everyone where to find you and plug all your stuff.
All right. At Mark Norm on Twitter, at Mark Norman on Instagram, MarkNormanComedy.com is the website. Check out my pod, Tuesdays with Stories, on iTunes. And, come see me live, say hello, and praise Allah.
Jeff, where should we go for you?
You can find me on Facebook and Twitter at Colonel Jeff Fox.
And follow me on Twitter at Allison Rosen, and follow the show's Twitter feed at ARIYNBF. Thank you guys so much for listening. I love you. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen Show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go. Yeah, Allison Rosen